Joel Martin, head coach, Spearfish Spartan Girls Wrestling team. I'll give you guys a little recap. I'll even kind of start with regions. Last week, we were runner-up by a point and a half. Sturgis kind of got us at the end. Sturgis had a great tournament, but region is a qualifier for state. Girls got to get top four, and then sometimes if they get fifth place, they can become a alternate too. But we didn't have anybody in that alternate position. But we were fortunate enough to get 7 girls to the state tournament. One of them, Morgan Little, had never qualified for state before. Another one, Sydney Badwound, she's been out with injury for a couple of years, so she'd qualified, I think, back as an 8th grader, and she's a senior now and has kind of sat out a couple of years, unfortunately, with some injuries. But so it'd been a while since she qualified. But overall, we had a great region tournament. Our region is always so tough. I think they did stats, and we have 60 more girls in the next region. So I mean, it's amazing how many girls are in a region and how tough our region is. But last week, we had the state tournament. Did a phenomenal job, fantastic. As a coach, I couldn't have been happier. It's probably one of my greater achievements as a coach, I will say. And I've been coaching about 29 years, and just the fact that the girls, did a great job. We placed 3rd as a team. I think, you see rankings and stuff, and rankings, I tell the girls, are just rankings. That's what they are. And some of us had us 4th and 5th and maybe even lower. So the fact that we got 3rd was great. So just to recap how we did, we did place 6 girls. At 105 pounds was Morgan Little. She's a junior. Morgan had a fantastic tournament. She was a pinning machine. And when we get into tournaments, those pins are huge because that turns into bonus points. You get kind of the max points you can get, and plus you get what's called advancement points. She ended up going in as the 6th seed. Won her first match, I believe, by pin. Next match, she ran in the 3rd seed, but battled her tough. I want to say it was like a 7-1 or 7-2 match. So I mean, she battled her tough, and that girl ended up in the finals. So I mean so she wrestled her good, and then I believe she won her next 2, and then lost in the Consi semis, and then got a pin for 5th and 6th. So she actually beat her seed, which again was huge points for us. And like I said, at the end of the year, I think Morgan was probably one of our best girls wrestling. She just was really on that up and up the whole year. Kind of struggled at the beginning of the year, and then after Christmas, really took off. And Morgan's put work in during the summer. And, it pays off. We always tell them the summer work was what pays off in the winter. And she did a great job of pulling that 5th place out for us. In fact, I always have to giggle with her because she got a little mad in her 5th place match because the girl threw her twice. And she was mad that happened. And then she turned her and pinned her. And so it all ended up good. At 115 pounds is Haven Baker. She was a returning place winner for us last year. She was all the way down at 100 though, and so this year she was at 115, and that that's kind of a big jump in weight, and it was a bigger jump in weight for her. She ended up qualifying again. She kind of had some injury issues at the beginning of the season, so she really only had about half a season in, but did a great job of qualifying for state, getting 4th place. In my opinion, was the toughest weight class in the state tournament, in the whole state, 115 pounds. There was a lot of even girls, a lot of tough girls. Unfortunately, she kind of came out on the short end of it. She lost both of her first 2 matches, so that eliminated her. But the one thing with Haven is she's going to go down with a fight. And the girl that she wrestled in her elimination match, she almost had her pin. We were about a half inch away from pinning the girl in the first period. So I always give my hats off to Haven. She's a junior as well, so we get her for another year, and we're looking for great things from her in her senior year. At 130 pounds was Candace Matsuda. Candace is one of our leaders, one of our seniors the last 4 years, and she went in, I believe, ranked 3rd. It had kind of a tough go. She won her first 2 matches fairly easy by pin. In the semifinal match, she wrestled a girl that we've seen a few times and have always gone back and forth with. I think we'd wrestled her twice. She won 1. The girl beat us once. And Candace had a tough fought match. It was 5-4 at the end of the semi. Unfortunately, she came up on the short end of it, but not for lack of effort. Candace is always putting out max effort and being that leader for us. And And then she had kind of a tough match too, coming back in the consolation semis. That's after you wrestle your semis, you got to come back and wrestle another match about an hour later or so. So it's kind of tough emotionally. And the girl that she wrestled was actually a state finalist a couple of years ago. So she ended up losing that match, but she came back on the last day in the 5th place match and got a big pin for us too. Again, huge points for us to kind of keep us in that 3rd place position when it came to the 2nd day. Then her sister, Matilda Matsuda, at 135 pounds, she had a great tournament too. She actually, I think, was the 3 seed, won her first 2 fairly easy, and then won her semifinal match. So, and that was against a girl that had beat us twice this year. And Matilda just wrestled her very smart, kind of to our game plan that we had gamed for her, and got a takedown, I believe, in the 3rd period to go up like 4-0, and just kind of rode her out and controlled her, and ended up winning that. So that put her in the state finals against Brittany Reed, a girl out of Scotland, and she's really good. She's been nationally ranked at times, and Brittany is just a good wrestler. I've known her for a number of years. I think she's a 2 or 3 time state champ. And Matilda wrestled her to a 1-0 match in the finals. So, I mean, you couldn't ask for any better for Matilda either. And that was, again, she beat her seed. So that was a great job by her to get to the finals. At 145 was Makita Razor. She, I believe, went in as the 4 seed, took a tough loss to the 5 seed in the a local girl, a region girl from Deadwood. They've gone back and forth this year, and she ended up on the short end of it this time. But then came back all the way through the backside. Again, lost her Consi semi match, but again, she wrestled in that 5th place match, got a pin for us again, kind of helped solidify again our 3rd place standing on that last day. Makita's a junior as well, so we get her back, and we're looking for big things from her next year. And she's just a battler. She sat out probably a month, probably about 6 weeks with some injuries, and she battled back and just did a great job for us. At 170, it was Sydney Badwin, and I kind of mentioned Sydney already. Sydney's been with us since about 7th grade, suffered an injury her freshman year, didn't really come back until this year, kind of finally healed up and trusted it. And Sydney, again, she sat out about a month with some injury and other things. But, you know, she was kind of a leader for us as well as being that senior. And she was seated, she was seated 8th. Won her first match, lost her second one, and then coming back through, she won her state placing match and then lost her next one. So that put her in for 7th and 8th. And kind of unfortunately, the girl that she wrestled was injured and couldn't wrestle for 7th and 8th. So Sydney got a forfeit for 7th and 8th, which is, you know, kind of a bummer. You want to wrestle that last match as a senior, but again, it was huge team points for us, and just the fact that she was in that spot put us there. So she placed 7th. And then at 190 pounds, Marley Heltzel, she ended up in 2nd place. She was seated 4th. So that was really good for us. She ended up in the finals, won her first 3 matches. We beat the number 1 seed in the semis, a girl from Custer that we've wrestled many times, and Marley's finally kind of gotten over that hump with her and started beating her towards the end of the year, and we ended up getting a pin in the semis, which was huge. Again, big points for us to get a pin in the semis and get to the finals. Unfortunately for Marley, the girl that she wrestled in the finals was defending state champion, and I think it was the second or end of the second, beginning of the third, I can't remember, suffered a knee injury. And so we tried to get her to go, and once we got back started, she just couldn't get it going. If Marley's hurt, you know she's hurt, you know, because she's about as tough as they come. And man, I can't say good enough things about Marley. She's done such a phenomenal job this year of improving herself and just making herself better over the summer and summer wrestling and lifting and just working hard in the room. And Coach Powers works a lot with her because he's a bigger guy too, and she's a bigger gal, and they do some stuff in the room to help each other out. And man, we'll hopefully get Marley healed up and we'll get her back on the mat. And we still got 2 years out of her. She's only a sophomore and she's already placed 4 years, which is pretty phenomenal. So I mean, she's possibility to be a 6-year placer, but. Overall, again, like I said, the state tournament was just fantastic for us. We just had a great year. We had a great group of seniors. We had 6 seniors. Candace and Matilda Matsuda were 2 of our captains. Another one of our captains, she didn't quite make the state tournament, was Jaden Werlinger. And then Sydney Badoon, who I also mentioned. And then we also had Jillian and Kimberlyn Heisler. I had my 2 sets of identical twins but they've all been with me at least since that freshman year when we separated this program out. So they've been just unbelievable leaders for us and have set that tone for the future Spartans. And, now we kind of turn it to off-season wrestling, and we've got Black Hills Nationals coming up in April. We'll start doing some open mats. Coach Santura will get them lifting again in the spring and the summer, and we kind of have some plans for a camp not solidified yet, and some of them will wrestle freestyle, and the cycle starts over again, and we're just anxious to see what the summer and the spring bring and get after again next fall.